Right, so welcome back to the Bach and Arthur podcast, everybody. Woo! Today is episode 13, and it's all about hypocrisy and reconciliation.
And 13 is an unlucky number, so we're going to get ourselves cancelled today.
We actually could. I mean, season one, we haven't really had a season one sort of like deep dive, like really going deep and introspective.
No.
So we had episode 36, all about moral choices. It was all about exposing our moral hypocrisy. And I sort of ran through a series of choices with you about saving people's lives, like almost like trolley problem type stuff.
Yeah.
And we both ended up agreeing that there was like a perfect moral ideal, a way to act in certain situations, and basically saying that we fall short of that kind of thing all the time. So if you haven't watched that already, that's some good context. You're welcome to go back. But it was essentially things like the end point was like, oh, would you rather save a man's life or buy a new pair of shoes? And we both obviously picked save the man's life. But then we were like, oh, when you go out and buy a pair of shoes, you know, you kind of could be using that money to potentially save someone's life. Probably plenty of charities out there that go, oh, your donation of this much would actually genuinely save one life. It's probably less than a pair of shoes. So it got me thinking, and especially the comments, which they're always welcome, kind of going like, oh, have you guys ever thought about this? And we speak about quite a lot of things. You know, we speak about climate change, we speak about animal rights, all that kind of stuff. I think those two are things I speak about quite a lot. And, you know, people are always asking me like, oh, why don't you become vegan? Like, how come you guys can speak about climate change and care about the environment and all that kind of stuff and also use AI, and where does that go? So I was trying to think like, what are my main sources of cognitive dissonance? I got yours, and we're essentially going to go through them, just kind of like say like, these are what they are. These are the things we struggle with. We're going to go through some philosophical takes, because this is a common thing. People are really bad at this, having this ideal and falling short of it. We're going to go through some philosophical takes, some ways some philosophers have handled it and gone, you know, this is how I reconcile it. And then deep dive into why exactly we make the decisions we do and whether we're happy with them, where there's room for improvement and all that kind of stuff.
Hell yeah. So
yeah, let's start off. I've kind of tickled mine, but we'll come back to my...
Tickled yours is disgusting.
We'll come back to, the tip of the iceberg has reared its ugly head with me. But what are your main things where you go like, I have this kind of ideal and I feel like I fall short of it?
Morality wise, it would be the donate versus purchase thing, which we spoke about in episode 36 in season 1, where it's like,
right,
you could buy some fuck-ass sunglasses for £100 or donate that money to charity. And oh no, I was about to put sunglasses on. That's actually kind of insensitive, but they're in my drawer anyway.
Why are they in your drawers?
No, in my drawer.
Oh.
In my drawer, along with 3 scratch cards and a pair of underwear.
Oh, so you're gambling now.
But yeah, does this answer the question?
Yeah, 9
of my
people
choice?
died instead of you. That was the choice.
That sounds terrible. Yeah, no, but I think everyone's guilty of that. It's like, sure, you could use the money that you're spending on things you don't really need on like good things like donations or putting towards a good cause that might save someone's life. But in general life, people don't really do that. I'm guilty of that. And yeah, I think that's like the biggest one I feel guilty for.
Is it?
For sure, yeah.
Do people ever speak about it to you? Because I mean, obviously you're a big influencer. You got hundreds of thousands you got millions of followers.
The jawline and...
you know, I think there'll be quite a lot of people going like the jawline as well. Not just listening. Yeah.
Veiny.
Yeah, lovely haircut, deep
I've
brown
actually had
eyes.
a haircut.
No, like quite a lot of people will kind of be going, oh, you know, like I live paycheck to paycheck. I don't really feel this kind of guilt for, you know, not donating money because I've got my own priorities and stuff that a lot of people just getting by, students and what have you. But do you feel like as a bigger influencer, you kind of have felt like the more money you earn, like that guilt has gotten bigger?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I'd think about it as much if yeah.
If you're just like, oh, I'm paying my bills. Like now you go like, oh, I've actually got excess money. Like what do I
do
with it?
Yeah, for sure. And I do donate to charities and I do bits, but I could definitely do more. You know, I could definitely do more.
What about other stuff in your life? Maybe not necessarily morality wise, but you go like oh, this is kind of like an ideal or a principle I would like to hold myself to, but I just really don't.
A lot of mine comes around health as well, because like as you know, I love a sweet treat.
Yeah, you do.
I can't help it. And so I know that also bacon, sorry, I'm tangenting, but bacon, I'm sorry, I'm stimming real quick.
It's all right.
But bacon.
Oh, people have said, don't ever apologize for tangenting. They love the tangents.
Oh,
so
thank you guys.
Tangent away.
All right, sure. Bacon it takes like 9 minutes off your life every time you have a piece of bacon or something like that.
Does it?
In theory, yeah. I'll eat bacon all the time, knowing that's going to take 9 minutes off my life, but I would rather eat that bacon than live those 9 minutes at the end. You know, but I know I shouldn't. And that I apply that's kind of with all things diet and decision making. Like we could go out one night and I'm like, oh, I could not drink tonight, that's better for my health. Or I could get white girl wasted and do karaoke. And I usually end up doing that.
I'm quite similar with like unhealthy food and drinking. Obviously, like we do drink a lot because so much of our content does revolve around it.
And we're boring without it as well.
We are so boring without it. We need to start drinking on the pod.
Yeah, what are we doing?
But yeah, and I'm always like, oh, like years of just drinking, like getting drunk on these. I mean, obviously I'm a lightweight as well, so I get battered on these pub crawls. And I'm like, this cannot be healthy.
No, yeah.
And I think it's one where I weigh up and I do think we do have such a good time with it. I think we have quite healthy relationships with alcohol as well. Like we're both, I always think this, I'm glad I am the type of person I am when I'm drunk. Like sometimes I don't know if
Really?
you ever
You're an arsehole.
but I just get way more socially inept, but I'm still like having a good time. You know, you ever like meet people that I will just get really angry or they're really mean or something when they're drunk and you're just like, oh, like.
So Chris.
Oh no, he's like that when he's sober.
No, yeah.
So I feel like we don't lose that much.
Yeah.
Definitely in the short term. Like when we drink, we just do have fun. We have a good time. Nothing bad really ever comes of it. Maybe our livers will keel over and die a little bit early, but
then a lot of life is just doing what you enjoy as well.
Yeah.
Even if you do die a little bit earlier.
yeah,
At least you had
like the sweet treats.
Yeah, like the sweet treats.
Yeah. And who's to say that a life that's 9 minutes longer without that yummy bacon or the drink and stuff is better?
And they're always the worst minutes as well. It's like 9 minutes when you're on your deathbed anyway.
Oh yeah. Yeah, when I'm 83. Oh, 9 more minutes of me shitting myself.
Yeah, I was just thinking that, I'm probably going to have diarrhea.
Yeah.
At that age, so like I do now.
Yeah.
Every day. So yeah, the whole health versus happiness thing. But then I don't know. That's kind of a difficult one because it's like you can argue both bring you happiness.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah. Farting versus climate is a big one for me.
Oh yeah. That is a tough one.
Because as doctors say, I give off more methane than a cow farm. And I know that's not good for the climate, but I can't stop eating beans. Sorry, guys. They call me the bean monster.
And we're quite good yin and yang because like you fart it out, I suck it back in. That is all.
Sometimes he sucks them straight out of my butt. They don't even get into the atmosphere. It's crazy.
We cancel each other out. It's crazy.
Yeah. And a big one for me is importance of family and also friends at home versus living far away. I don't live that far away, but it's like I'm 2-3 hours away from family.
I have a very similar thing. I always say like family is probably the most important thing. probably
shortly after Rose Toys.
That or this podcast. And obviously my family are in Jersey.
Yeah.
And especially having younger siblings that just grew up so quick. I'm like, I wish I could just get a train home and see them more frequently. Actually, it's a short flight. I really should do it more often than I do.
Yeah. I mean, it's just difficult to schedule in with work and everything, isn't it?
That's the other thing. And
it's the sort of thing that I know I will regret when... It's a difficult one because living in London is great for everything, like work, just friends, everything. However, I know later down the line, I'm going to be like... Like when your parents get old and you're like, I could have spent more time with them if I didn't move away for work. And then would I be happy that I did that for work and I just kept grinding? Or would I be like, what was I grinding for? I'm going to die anyway. Yeah. Probably not. Probably not knowing me. But yeah, that's a big one for me. And
then you also just said that you're my like two big ones were also yours in terms of
Yeah. I saw yours on the list, and I completely agree. Because I put mine in afterwards. I would have put these also.
Yeah.
So
like the my main two I would say are sort of like veganism versus both the morality and climate stuff, because it's obviously supposed to be bad for the environment. Eating meat, not that not eating meat is perfect, but anyway, and AI versus climate. So we're going to come on to that. We're gonna speak through it, and we're going to go like why we make the decisions we do, like weighing them up, because I think there's a lot of interesting information when you get into the details of the numbers behind it and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But first up, we're going to go to the philosophical takes.
Ooh.
The thinkers throughout the past have always worried about this and just gone like, why are we like this? How can we reconcile it?
Why are you like this?
Why are you like this?
No, why have you done this?
So essentially, this little segment is going to be talking about caring, but not living up to your values. Does it make us weak, wise, or real?
Oh, real.
Do you think?
Yeah. But go break it down.
Okay,
break it down real quick. Break it down.
So let's start off with Socrates, who, in my opinion, is a massive moron on this topic. He controversially argued that no one willingly does wrong. They only do so because they're ignorant of the good.
Well, what are we including, like stabbing?
Yeah.
Because I think people who stab know that they could not do that. I would argue that.
Yeah, that's why it's so controversial. I think he's more like, it's more slightly that he's thinking, oh, they haven't really thought about it enough and they don't really know. Because let's say someone stabs you, often they're robbing you. They're trying to take your money, your wallet, your car keys, your phone, your rose toy.
But what if they do?
Oh, that halted him in his tracks.
Which one?
The gold-plated one.
That's at home in a safe. That only comes out on Fridays.
Oh. Wait, what day is it? Oh, it's miles off.
Not today, pal.
Not the day of Odin. But yeah, he kind of thought that no one willingly does wrong. And Aristotle came along, obviously, and was like, hell no. And he said that people can know the good and still fail to do it because of weakness. You've got emotions, desires, or habits that overpower reason, which seems to make a lot more sense.
Yeah, that does make more sense.
I mean, I don't know. Was Socrates seriously sitting there going like, oh, anytime I do something bad, it's genuinely because I'm ignorant of the good?
Do you know what? A problem I have with a lot of these philosophers, I think they just said shit for the sake of it at some points. They're like, oh, I need to get some new work out there. I'm just going to say something.
I agree. Actually, if you go through Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle and go like, what stuff have they got wrong?
Yeah.
I mean, the more sciencey stuff was hilariously stupid.
That's what I mean. I reckon only like a quarter of the things these guys said was actually valid. The rest was just like they're throwing shit at a wall.
Yeah.
And then just see what makes sense. So Socrates,
just not finishing that.
Sort yourself out.
Yeah, I agree with these early thinkers. They kind of could have just thought the most basic stuff like this. No, they do know the good. They're just a bit weak. And it's like, no, you're a genius, Aristotle. Good job.
Yeah, they're
going to write about you for hundreds of years.
Yeah, that's so true. Anything they said was just probably not been said yet as well, because they were born first. Oh no, they weren't the first ever person. Adam and Eve.
Adam was just Aristotle's nickname.
Oh, and Eve, Socrates.
Socrates. Nice. Immanuel Kant.
He can.
Another.
I said he can. Thank you.
Oh, we were in the airport the other day. Were you there with those guys describing it? And one of them went, it can. And it's obviously like been a meme for like years. I was when we were queuing for Prague. And these like boozy lads.
Oh, he was explaining the meme, wasn't
he?
And
he just started explaining the entire thing, and it was like, this feels like such NPC dialogue.
So, yeah, he was just to his mates, and he just goes like this. He just goes, yeah, he can.
Yeah, gave the full context. I'm like, this is such a
weird conversation.
An odd conversation to overhear. It's like a GTA when you sort of stand too near a bunch of NPCs and you hear their conversation. You're like, what?
How often are you just standing by NPCs in GTA?
Oh, where do you think I learned my normal mannerisms? I have to study it somewhere.
That makes so much sense.
But I can't do it to real people, because if I just stand there observing humans on the sidewalk, then I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
Oh, but you're giving it a good go.
Sidewalk. Why did I say that?
Well, because of your observation. GTA. Yeah, that's the problem.
But yeah, he had this sort of like categorical imperative thing where he was like, act in a way that should become a universal law. So like never ever tell a lie, like always tell the truth. And people are like, oh, does that mean like a white lie to save someone's feelings that has no real like negative consequences? You really shouldn't do that. And he was like, you know what? Yeah. But yeah, anyway, he actually acknowledged human fallibility. He said that failure to meet moral ideas don't make you a hypocrite. They could just mean you're still striving, which is quite nice. Just being like, oh, you know what? You know, you're not a hypocrite. You're just still striving to do better and be better.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, it's a journey.
I guess it depends on how much you're still striving as well.
I think
you can get some people that fall short that are not making any effort.
Yeah, and they'll argue they're striving.
Yeah.
Also, if you never really reach it, well, you can strive till death. Is that possible?
Yeah,
and then you're never a hypocrite.
Surely everyone's still striving.
Yeah, you could argue no one's
in any field.
Yeah, then you can argue no one's a hypocrite. Although some people just straight up aren't trying.
Yeah.
And you can tell. So, but I do believe in white lies. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
What's the last white lie you told me?
Couldn't tell you. I say so many. So,
when you said nice haircut this morning.
yes, because it made you feel better. Yeah.
That was a lie.
No, it wasn't. Okay, I couldn't tell you.
Fair
off
enough.
the top of my head. Oh, well, there isn't pants in here. There
what?
isn't underwear in here.
Oh, is there not?
There's no scratch cards. It's just 3 whiteboard pens. That was a white lie. Which is harmless, right?
I don't know if that is a white lie. Yeah, so he sort of argued that the key was just trying to do good things in good faith and just trying to live by your principles. And it doesn't really matter whether you succeed 100% of the time. I feel like these are all quite surface level on the philosophical things. I bet there are a lot of people in the comment section that can shine a light in greater depth on these philosophical takes, because this isn't something I've particularly read much about, but reading these sort of like fundamental ideas of these guys is really interesting. I'd like to read
more
on it.
Finished your sentence.
Yeah.
Unlucky.
Yeah. Oh, have you ever told a big lie that's got you in trouble?
Yeah, quite a lot. To be honest. What did I lie about? True classic. I think I've already said this, but I booted a ball straight at my neighbour's greenhouse and just decimated it.
Did you actually?
And I said to my parents, "Oh, it rebounded off the climbing frame."
No way.
Yeah,
with
I
such
just
a
lined it
force,
up and
that's
just
crazy.
booted that thing straight through it. And then she came round, was like, "You kind of need to pay for that greenhouse." I was like, "Oh, mum and dad, you're gonna have to pay."
How old are you?
23. No, it was. I still lived in Crawley, so it was like 8 maybe.
Oh, so you did not have the funds for that.
No, I didn't.
Jellyfish AAA or whatever.
My God, yeah, that was jellyfish
was
days.
not popping off. What was it?
For some reason.
Was it jellyfish?
Jellyfish? No, jellyvids.
Jellyvids.
For some reason, the videos didn't blow up, so I wasn't making any money.
For some reason.
Who would have thought? So
today I'm going to eat my pregnant goldfish or whatever it was.
Right, it was actually, is my balloon Molly pregnant?
And
I
was
didn't
it?
eat it. No, the other one was, infamously. You should know that.
No, I've never actually watched the video.
Oh, you would have loved it.
Yeah. Is it still up?
Oh, they're still up. Jellyvids 888. That's the account right there. There you go. Pineapple War. And how many views are we sitting on? 29? 20K.
And 15K. I bet you never thought when you did that it would get there.
That's so, well, I did actually. I thought when I uploaded it was going to go viral.
Really?
Yeah. What do you mean? I thought I was going to get millions of views.
Right.
Alas.
Hi, I need to know if my balloon Molly is pregnant because I've just got this floating hatchery today, so she could go in there because she's got a white tube in her butt, which is one
A white tube in her bum?
Yeah. That was just my
it's
observation.
like a sign
Turns out
that
she wasn't pregnant and I put her in
and
that
her bum's
hatchery.
gone red
And the other fish was pregnant. And it gave birth everywhere.
No way.
Yeah.
Right, well, if you want to go check out those vids, go to Jellyvids 888
You know
on
where
YouTube.
to find them. But do you know what? That's a good example of my, what's the thing, dissonance? What was it?
Cognitive dissonance.
Because keeping fish in a tank, technically, I would argue is cruel, right? You think?
I guess it depends on what the environment's like. How big was the tank? That seemed quite small.
That was a 60-litre tank. It was a
bit empty.
In general, that, like, as fish tanks go, that's a nice tank for the amount of fish in there. But I would argue in general, probably keeping fish in a tank isn't like the best thing to do. And yet I did it because I liked the look of it. But I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
If that.
Little twat.
You little
hypocrite.
yeah. you little twat. And then you got Carl Jung, who was a Swiss psychologist, and I'm talking about this because I like Swiss cheese. And he said the paradox is one of our most valuable spiritual possessions. He spoke about liminal space in psychology, which is the discomfort of not aligning yet with who you want to be. So you got an ideal, and you know you're not yet aligned with that ideal version of yourself. You're aware of your failures to reach that, and it causes discomfort. Do you have that?
I think we're about to get onto it with a lot of those things.
And he said cognitive dissonance isn't always bad. It can be productive tension that prompts growth, which I would argue is pretty true, actually.
I like that. I think that was the nice thing about going through the philosophical takes first, because it was originally something we were going to go through at the end. But it's nice to kind of have that framework to then, when we're discussing things, almost like reference it back.
Yeah.
So let's go on to like taking something down. Veganism. I recently did a video on veganism. It was sort of like it was one of those Jubilee videos where they had to find out who wasn't actually a vegan. And yeah, that's kind of what got me thinking about this. Everyone had their own kind of like different ideas of what veganism was, why they were vegans. Like some people were just, there was this guy who was like, I'm just vegan in terms of my diet. You know, I don't consume, and I do it for my skin and like physical health. And he's like, I don't really care about the animal suffering as much. Oh. So when it came to like, one of the vegans was going, oh, what soap products do you use? And he was like, I'm going to answer something, but you're not going to like, this isn't you've caught me out as not being a vegan. And he goes like, I'm just not a vegan when it comes to soap products. Because he's like, I'm only a vegan because of my physical health.
Right.
So
dietary one.
And a lot of people are like, oh, that means you're not a vegan and stuff like that. A lot of people are saying it in there. I guess it depends on how you know, some people are saying it's a philosophy and it's all about the animal welfare and like, you can't be vegan in parts, all this kind of stuff. And I thought it was really interesting because I obviously speak about animal rights and welfare a lot. I'm big on wildlife and nature. So I think some people are always like, oh, how come you're not vegan? And honestly, I don't really know. It's something we've kind of covered before. Like it makes a lot of sense. I always remember saying really early on when we were doing season 1 that I didn't really think about veganism too much. And Alex O'Connor was like, if it's unnecessary, like, would you as a person want to reduce unnecessary animal suffering? And I was like, well, yeah. And he's like, is it unnecessary? Yeah, because I don't need to eat animal products. Like I can live a healthy, happy vegan lifestyle. And do animals suffer from it? And it's like, yeah. And it's like, well, if you want to reduce unnecessary animal suffering, why don't you become a vegan? But there are just, there are just so many things that I think it's almost like, I think this is just one of the times when I just am being a bit of a hypocrite with it, really. Like it's, you know, I've got habit from growing up with it. You know, I always ate meat growing up. Yeah. So like shaking that habit, it's a bit more difficult. It's a bit more complicated. Like I know a bunch of recipes with chicken and beef and pork, so I can make them easily. It tastes nice. If I wanted to switch to being a vegan, I'd have to change my diet slightly. I have to learn new recipes. It would require effort. I think there's a lot of emotional detachment as well. Like, you know, if I can see an orangutan in a zoo, you know, I can be like, oh, you know, I want to preserve them as a species. I want to, you know, like conservation of them is really important. Whereas when you've got a mincemeat tub, like there's such a big emotional detachment because you're not really seeing the cow there. And yeah, I don't know. What do you think in terms of, you ever thought about it or?
I'm the same. Yeah, I probably just wouldn't become vegan.
What's the main thing? Like too much effort?
Yeah, honestly, it's just easier for me not to be a vegan. And yeah, I mean, I've gone through stages, especially with cows. Like I look at a big cow and I'm like, wow, that's just kind of like a big dog. But
they act like I mean, being an outdoorsy person, they act like dogs as well, don't they?
Yeah.
Cows are so sweet natured.
And same with pigs, actually.
Yeah.
Like, they can act like a dog. Like if you bring them up domesticated, they will. They just are domesticated. But yeah, like you said, the detachment. Like when I pick up a pack of mints, that animal it's already meat. It's already there for consumption. The animal is dead. So there's like the detachment of me buying this doesn't contribute any more to animal suffering because it's already dead. Obviously, that's not really true because you reduce demand and supply reduces. But yeah, I don't know. I just I think it's just too convenient for me to be a meat eater to not do it.
Yeah, I think it's the same, and it's like it almost like feels, I think for me, like slightly like difficult to say because this is like I'm definitely feeling the what was the liminal, what was the word for the liminal bit? The liminal space, and it is that feeling of cognitive dissonance, like sitting here facing it now and just going like, actually, like I really should. I mean, I definitely do to some extent. I mean, like the Carl Jung thing said, cognitive dissonance isn't always bad. It can be productive tension that prompts growth, like this kind of thing. I definitely do think about it. Like, you know, I try and go organic and free range when I buy eggs and stuff. And I definitely eat a lot less meat than I used to.
Yeah.
Definitely avoid red meat much more. Like I'll eat less beef because I'm aware about the cows and stuff. So it's one where I like factor it in, definitely. You know, like dolphin friendly tuna, all that kind of stuff. Like I think about it, but I definitely am aware that I don't do as much as I should or could really. And I don't even think this is like with a lot of these things are especially coming up, I'll just be like, I just feel like I'm being reasonable with it. Like I found a reasonable middle ground. It's weirdly one of those things where I probably don't feel like I'm on a reasonable ground and probably should do more, but just haven't found it. But who knows, maybe in future facing this cognitive dissonance more will make me go, actually. And there's one other thing as well. The culture thing's obviously quite a big one.
Yeah.
It's like eating meat is quite big in our culture with our families, and like, you know, most places like the vegan menus are quite small, might not even have vegan options. But the whole like dogs and cats being pets, cows and pigs being food. I don't know if you ever see these TikTokers go, oh, we're like giving out meat or whatever, and they'll be like, oh yeah, that's cat or that's dog. And people really freak out. And when he goes, no, it's actually just pig, they go, oh, thank goodness. And he's like, why does that make a big difference to you? And yeah, there's this whole thing about like deeply ingrained cultural norms, really capable of overriding empathy, even in people who consider themselves animal lovers. So
yeah,
just as weird because you look at the way how smart a pig is, how a cow behaves, and if they were much smaller and we had them in our houses, maybe we wouldn't eat them.
Yeah. I think that's what it is, isn't it? I think it's what like people deem as wild and what people don't deem as wild.
Yeah.
Like pets are clearly not wild, but cows and pigs, they could argue, is technically a wild animal.
Yeah. But even people have a lot of weird animals as pets. Like even ducks. You ever seen anyone keep ducks?
Yeah.
I think if I end up living somewhere where I've got like a lot of land, I'd love to have ducks. They're so cute. Indian
runner ducks.
Yeah. They're the ones that like have the really long bodies and necks and look like they should have arms.
Yeah.
Because they're so upright. Look at them.
Yeah. They're standing to attention. I like them. I wanted one, but
really?
They just shit everywhere. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's the downside with birds. I want a bird. That was the same with pigeons, right? Like I remember when I was looking at nursing the pigeon back to health. And then on the internet, it was like, you cannot, you know, it won't even do what hamsters do and find a corner. It will just shit when it feels like it.
Yeah. And it's just the worst kind of shit as well.
Yeah, it is really runny and liquid. Yeah. Grim. Yeah. And there's also obviously just the climate side of it. Veganism that it's just is better for the environment. Not perfect, because I think sometimes you'll get sort of land that was rainforest and stuff that's been cleared for crops for vegans. And so it's definitely not perfect, but it's better.
I think, do you know, a big part of it is like, with a lot of things, you can make a moral decision to do something better, and usually you'll see like evidence of a result, or like you see the outcome is better, is good. Like, I don't know, instead of killing a spider, you put it outside. That's a good thing to do. You see the spider walk off, and you know that it's going to live a happy life. Whereas you make the decision not to pick up mince in a supermarket and you pick up sweet potato, you don't see less animal suffering.
No, not at all.
So you don't really see the results of the decision that you made. So there's kind of like, no, it doesn't feel as real.
Yeah,
you know?
It's too far along the chain of consequence, isn't it? Just going like, I understand that, you know, you need a culture shift to reduce the demand, to reduce the supply and get less people farming meats and killing animals. But yeah, you do just, I mean, even compare with things like going, oh, you know, I'm not going to use that plastic straw. I'm just going to take off the lid and sip it. You can even think like, oh, that's not going to end up in the nose of a turtle someday.
Yeah.
Or
yeah, it feels more connected. And
Yeah.
I think if you were in a situation where you had to go to, let's say you go to a farm every day to either get meat or vegetables, and they're like, we can slaughter this pig right now and give you some bacon to take home, or you can take back this corn and this stuff. I think you would then decide, all right, I'll choose the vegan diet and let that pig live. If you saw like a happy pig right there,
yeah.
then you're like, oh, you're walking away knowing that that pig's still alive and happy. It's just about seeing it.
Yeah, for sure. And then, yeah, the last one is health. Like I said, there was that person who was talking about becoming a vegan for health. Maybe my skin would be better. That's something I thought about. I mean, I definitely drink less milk just because it makes my skin worse. I was saying to this guy in the gym the other day who was asking me, just randomly started yapping to me and asking me about what I eat and drink and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, I actually just stopped drinking protein shakes because I didn't like it with water. And if I had it with milk, I was having like a pint of milk and it just made my skin really bad.
I think health is kind of a grey area, because you could argue that it's not as healthy to eat a vegan diet as it is omnivorous.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like, why is an egg unhealthy? Or like, why is red meat unhealthy? Whereas like processed corn meat, they would say it's healthy, but it's not really healthier than eating an egg. You know what I mean? Like,
Kind of. But I mean, yeah, I guess I don't really know the studies well enough. But I mean, isn't that because I mean, the whole like, there's this sort of like alpha male TikTok thing where like you get a lot of people eating just like steak and eggs and avocado every day.
yeah,
And then I think quite a lot of health professionals are going like, we have got quite good studies saying that if you eat this much egg and this much red meat, you are going to have problems with your heart, cholesterol, that kind of stuff.
yeah.
But I do know what you mean in terms of like substituting it for stuff like
It's the thing is, you'll get like studies that say that, and then studies that disagree, and then same with the corn food and other like vegetables. Like lettuce is carcinogenic. You'd think lettuce would cause you no issues,
yeah.
and yet, yeah, I don't know. It's such a difficult one. And then obviously spraying in insecticides and pesticides over the vegetable crops, that can't be good unless you're eating organic.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's a tough one. I do wonder if the information stuff also has a big impact. Just going like, there isn't a great deal of, it's not as if the whole world is going like, this diet is easier, better, cheaper, all this kind of stuff. There are a lot of people out there going like, actually, oh, I think this diet's better or this diet's better. And, you know, actually you should be eating maybe more red meat or eggs and stuff like that. Like it must make consumers just find it so much more difficult because you're there going like, oh, actually, if like, who do I listen to? How do I, you know, and not everyone has the time to just crawl through a bunch of scientific papers to go, actually, you know, what's the right thing to do that.
I guess it does depend on person. Like you said, milk affects you. Whereas milk, I don't have a problem. I'm necking milk every day.
Yeah, you got great skin, annoyingly.
Straight out of the dome. Annoyingly.
Yeah, it makes me jealous. Anyway, so yeah, that is generally overall something that I do find quite difficult and think about quite a lot. But you know, like it says above, maybe that's pressure that will make me improve in certain things, spend more time thinking about it, researching it, making better decisions. And yeah, let us know in the comment section down below what you guys think, whether you're vegans, what your reasons are, all that kind of stuff, what you think about things we can change, how easy it is.
Methane you give off.
You just want to hear how much people fart, don't you?
How many times you fart during this episode? Let us know down below.
I think I read the other day that doesn't the average person fart like 16 times a day? Can that be real? Can we Google that?
That's probably valid, isn't it? 16?
Are you more than 16?
I'm probably around the 16 mark. Depends on the day, what I've eaten. You know. They all smell like roses, fairies,
interesting,
sugarcane.
Oh, the average person farts around 15 times a day.
How many times do you reckon you fart in a day?
I don't know. I'm not a real big farter, really.
We need to get your numbers up. Seriously, you're losing aura.
Oh, and actually this takes us really nicely onto the AI one, because as we Googled that, there was an AI overview So often there's this big thing on the internet like, oh, why are you using AI? Why don't you just Google it?
Yeah.
And now Google at the top is just doing the AI for you.
So is that's running in the background regardless, right?
Gemini, yeah.
So
that's yeah. So that's using more energy than a previous Google search would have done.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, this is another really big one, you know. Climate change versus AI. I feel like we probably are going to avoid speaking about a lot of the other ethical and moral issues around AI. There are a lot we've spoken about. I feel like we've deep dived into AI a couple of times in terms of like effect on creativity, the workplace. I mean, obviously we're creators. There are AI podcasts out there now. Have you seen The Baby and the Dog?
No.
It's on TikTok.
The Baby and the Dog?
Yeah. It's just an AI baby and an AI dog. And they have conversations like from like the perspective of them just being like talking about giant humans and like how weird the whole world is.
That sounds amazing.
And
well, now I know what I'm going to do when I'm running. That's going straight in my ears.
I was speaking to Freeze about it the other day, being like, how long do you reckon until you just sign an AI podcast and go like,
really?
you're a company that runs these AI podcasts. The clips do really well. Sometimes they're quite funny and insightful or weird. And obviously, anyway, I digress.
I didn't even know they existed.
My point was just going like, we've spoken kind of about how AI is probably coming for our jobs in some respects. So yeah, we're going to leave a lot of the ethical stuff aside. This is more going to be about the climate impacts.
Yeah.
Because that's a hot topic right now.
Literally, because the temperature has risen. It's 23 degrees.
Yep.
And it's January.
So let's speak about ChatGPT and AI. Like, so why do we use it? Why do you use it? Mainly, what are the main things where you go like, I'll fire up ChatGPT for this?
To look through contracts.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, so you upload the PDF and go, tell me about this?
Yeah, can you look through that and let me know if I'm getting shafted or not?
Wow, that's quite a lot of trust because you are...
Yeah, true.
With some things, you know.
Well, I never used to look through them, so...
Oh, so this is better than nothing.
It's definitely a better level. Yeah, it's better
so it is improving your...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really, honestly, now the main thing I would ever use it for. Other than that, it might be like if I've got to come up with something myself and I'm really having like brain fog, I might use it to help me
you with creativity.
Help me do that.
And do you find any, do you struggle with that ever? Just going like, I'm a creator, I am creative, but I'm like using this. Do you see it as more of a tool?
It's like when, you need to come up with, we might be on a YouTube shoot and they want you to come up with a time that you did something you probably shouldn't have done, or like, you know what I mean? And it's those stories that you have to write down and you're I have no idea what to say now.
Yeah.
I might use it to like prompt me and remind me of something that I have done and I'm like, oh yeah, of course, and then I'll write that down. It does help me. Like in those situations, it will it will like remind me of things where I wouldn't have remembered that otherwise.
Yeah.
I've not got a very good memory. I talk about that a lot. I forget that I talk about it a lot.
ChatGPT has memory, so it'll be remembering some of the things you're saying to it.
Also, actually, I do use it to help me with tax stuff as well.
Oh, really?
I only really use it for boring.
Wow, but these are quite intense. Like, I feel mine's definitely mainly information. Like, I will, if I'm trying to figure something out or trying to understand a concept, maybe we're speaking about it on the podcast. It helps to kind of, it's really good at breaking things down, summarizing information. You can kind of ask, like, if you're reading a document or watching a YouTube video about something, you can't pause and go, actually, hold on, can you just explain this a bit more? There's no interactive. Whereas with ChatGPT, you can be like, actually, and same thing with like, how quickly it can find information. I could spend a lot more time on Google Scholar looking through articles, but you can ask ChatGPT like, oh, like what's the scientific consensus on this? Send me the thing. Or if someone links you an article, you can put it in ChatGPT and be like, summarize this, go to the conclusion, kind of like check a few things. But yeah, I definitely use it mainly for information just because it's really efficient. There was a study recently. Oh, it's here. Okay, so I've got it. World Bank blogs published on education for global development, from chalkboards to chatbots, transforming learning in Nigeria, one prompt at a time. And it says, a new randomized controlled trial of students using GPT-4 as a tutor in Nigeria, 6 weeks of after school AI tutoring equals 2 years of typical learning gains, outperforming 80% of other educational interventions. So it's really getting good at
Wow.
teaching people things, and like that's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I think about that with my little siblings, just going like, you know, if they get home from school and they're really struggling with something, you know, they can literally just understand it really quickly and easy using ChatGPT. Whereas if I was struggling with something and I was at home and my parents didn't have time, I'd be like, I don't really know how to, you know, if I've got it in my textbook in front of me and I'm like, I just don't understand what this is trying to say. Quite difficult navigating that. It would be quite time consuming, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Maybe it would teach me some other skills that could be beneficial figuring it out. But like if I'm just wanting to learn what this concept is, just think like it's a really good tool for that. And I think another big thing about the why is that it's quite similar with the meat eating thing, is that the cost is just so abstract. You know, you're not typing into ChatGPT and there's a fume, like an exhaust pipe in your computer, like chugging out some CO2. It's something that's not immediate and recognizable. It's something you've got to think about.
Yeah.
So this is where I was like, I kind of want to figure out the actual cost of using ChatGPT and AI actually is and how it compares. Because obviously there's a lot of stuff on the internet going like, it's bad for the environment, you shouldn't use it. And I was like, okay, let's figure out how bad, like, what are my alternatives? Like, am I better off watching YouTube videos, streaming a video about this? So training ChatGPT, GPT-3 had a one-time cost of 500 tons of CO2, which is a lot. You kind of hear about this, like training, it used an immense amount of energy, but that's only about 100 people. The annual emissions of about 100 people, which in the grand scheme of things doesn't seem that crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, 100 people versus 8 billion in the 8 million in the world. 8 billion in the world.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's
for training the whole model,
small.
like 500 tons of CO2 is a lot, but in perspective, I was like, that surprised me at how low it was.
Yeah.
And how relatively insignificant that is. Not that it's nothing, but yeah, I was surprised at how low that was. Also, I swear in the article that I read, that fact was, it was like, about on average 100 Frenchmen. And I was like,
yeah.
Why?
Wasn't it like poor Frenchmen?
Poor Frenchmen,
like
yeah, or something, yeah. Not particularly wealthy Frenchmen. And I was like, oh, that's a really weird metric.
Yeah, why French? The Frenchman metric, of course.
But yeah, and I looked at some sector comparisons because I was like, how does it compare with things like, you know, going on holiday? Because I like the environment, but I also flew to Prague. I also buy clothes.
Yeah.
Quite a lot.
Not often, but...
Everyone always says, these are so fashionable, it's bad for the environment. That's a really annoyingly nice t-shirt for you to be wearing whilst I'm making that point. And me to be wearing a plain back t-shirt.
To be fair, you're not wearing a mountain t-shirt today.
Oh, it's so close.
Is that a new one in rotation or you already had that?
Nah, it's just an old plain tee.
But
yeah, typical annual emissions per user: aviation, 2 to 10 tons of CO2 for frequent flyers; fashion, 0.5 to 1 ton of CO2; generative AI, 0.01 to 0.3 tons of CO2. So it really...
So it's much lower than even fashion.
And that's the thing. Like, I think if you go like, oh yeah, I travel a normal amount and I use generative AI a normal amount, I think at the moment people be like, oh, why do you use the generative AI? You need to cut that out. That's like really bad for the environment. But relative to a lot of other things, I kind of actually, having done veganism, would have been interesting to go vegan versus non-vegan in terms of CO2.
Ooh,
but does that surprise you as much as it surprised me?
It is definitely surprising. I mean, to be honest, I had no idea about even like the environmental impact of AI. I didn't see the comments of people saying, "Oh, it's bad for the environment," until very, very recently. And even then, I just thought, I can't see how it would be worse than like just searching Google or just being on your phone in general. Anyway.
Yeah, I think it's obviously just because it thinks harder and longer. It tends to generate, I think it takes about 5 to 10 times the amount of a Google search.
Okay.
But I think the point that a lot of the people were making when I was like going, how bad is this for the environment? A lot of the articles were going just in terms, like when you compare it to other things in your life, it's so relatively minuscule.
Yeah.
And I've got another one. So information comparisons, obviously this was a personal one because I was like, if I'm trying to get information, what do I do instead? So yeah, we've got an information comparison table here. So ChatGPT query, 0.003 kilowatt hours. Google search, 0.0003 to 0.001. So yeah, like a fraction, maybe like a tenth to a third, it would be for a Google search. But I also think that, you know, sometimes you would probably need to have several Google searches to get the same information that ChatGPT would send you.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Maybe it takes you 5 searches to get your answer.
Yeah.
Whereas probably just one on ChatGPT, because you word it and it understands you.
And it gives you like a big breakdown. And a YouTube video, 0.1 to 0.4 kilowatt hours. That's a 1 hour video, to be fair. But that's still a lot more. So even just like a 10-minute YouTube video, if I'm sitting there going like, I want to really understand this concept in philosophy, we're going to speak about it. Let's say it was Diogenes. We did that episode and I was like, I'm trying to figure out what to do. If I had a conversation with ChatGPT about it, that would actually be better for the environment than watching a YouTube video on it.
Yeah.
And I think if you said to a lot of internet users, oh, me and Batch researched this, I used AI in a conversation and Batch just watched a YouTube video, I think a lot of people, given the way people speak about it online, would be under the impression that using the AI for research would actually be significantly worse for the environment. And again, I know we're skipping over a lot of things like how accurate it can be, how reliable it can be. There's a lot of those issues, but just kind of like focusing here on the green side of things. It's quite surprising. And yeah, spending an hour with ChatGPT is 0.1 kilowatt hours. So it's about the same, if not less, than streaming a YouTube video or something. Or like, you know, if you're watching someone on Twitch for a few hours, you know, that's actually using a lot more energy and kicking out a lot more CO2 than speaking to ChatGPT, which is just really weird to think about.
Yeah.
But yeah, whilst I was finding these estimated energy use things, it was quite difficult because measuring it, people do say, is quite difficult. And also, it's all very outdated because some of these numbers I think are from 2023, which is obviously only 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But since then, both Google and ChatGPT have become more efficient. And so an engineering prompts article by a guy called Marcel Salathé, I think that's how you pronounce it, was like, these actual values are about 1/10.
Right.
So these kilowatt hour things are actually like 10 times higher than they actually are.
Than they really are.
And he was speaking about just going like, you know, if you compare how much energy you're using speaking to ChatGPT or using generative AI compared with moving a car 10 meters, it's so fractional. And, you know, essentially moving electrons is nowhere near as difficult as moving atoms. And I don't think that the point in any of this is to say that means that you should just use AI willy-nilly, like, you know, take the piss or anything like that. But I think our generation seems to really struggle with this kind of like green guilt of going like, I know I've got a long life ahead of me. I know like people speak about how important negating the effects of climate change and like reducing your carbon footprint, reducing your energy uses, like all this is so important. And a lot of people feel so guilty about doing things like using AI, traveling, like fashion, all that kind of stuff. And it's important to like focus on using less and stuff. But I just think maybe the amount of guilt that people may feel using it, sure, use it to spur you on, like be better, be greener, all that kind of stuff. But it may like, maybe you shouldn't be as hard on yourself as maybe a lot of people think, especially using AI.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's interesting. But I mean, go have a look yourself. If you're going like, oh, you know, what should I use? Should I use AI for this? Factor in way more than just the green stuff. This is just more of an interesting one because we do speak about AI and do speak about the environment. So it's a tough toss up. Tough toss up. And
I've had a tough toss up before.
And there is also a kind of like long-term benefit to AI that a lot of people speak about. I was surprised to see WWF on Instagram, who obviously I'm now promoting quite a lot. I speak about them in my stories. We interact.
You're a WWF athlete.
Not quite. Nothing official, but they posted me on their story the other day, which was very epic. And let's click on this Instagram post. Let's give it a little read.
So they said, hashtag, do you know? I didn't realize that was do you know. Do you know orangutans make a cozy nest to rest their head every night?
Oh yeah, it kind of looks like it could be a bad word. It's a bit close
Yeah,
to slow.
it is a little bit. Hashtag boom. Anyway, hashtag
Bro
do you
just
know?
said it, not knowing what it meant.
But no, they're saying, do you know orangutans make a cozy nest to rest their head every night, kind of like we use pillows. Well, some people, I don't. Sometimes I don't. It's true. Scientists count orangutan nests to estimate how many live in each area and to track changes in their population over time. Now, a pilot project by WWF Malaysia is using the power of AI to help with the count. They put in a cute little orangutan emoji there, which I didn't know existed. And positive results so far show the power of AI lending a hand in conservation.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, AI and climate being such big clashes, I was just kind of like surprised to see a wildlife, and then you go like, oh, actually, yeah, that's true. And so I looked this up too, and I was like, oh, how are people saying that AI is going to be good for the environment? Not that it's, you know, it's obviously got its downsides, but what could the good things be? And there's quite a big focus on it, aiding scientific and technological innovation in green and renewable energy is like a main one, just going like, you know, if we're sitting there going like, listen, it seems like AI is like an inevitable thing in society. It's just growing.
Yeah.
Some of the slightly more scary things is looking at the percentage of like the amount of energy usage AI as a total is projected to be using by 2030. It's going to be a big one.
Oh, yeah.
And just going like, listen, if this is going to become a big part of our life and people are going to be using it more and more, it's going to be using this much energy. How do we make it more efficient? But also, how do we get cleaner energy? Because if we can power it by completely clean energy, it doesn't really matter if we're not kicking off CO2.
Yeah.
You know, if we can get it from wind, solar, water, tidal, all that kind of stuff.
Keep going.
Huh?
No, keep going.
Oh, what was that?
I'm out.
Put me under pressure. No, that's all. Then yeah, that would be great. And obviously, if AI is powerful at doing these things, it could, you know, help us go, actually, here's how you store energy efficiently. You know, oh, this battery problem you guys are having, here's a solution. You actually can get the solar during the day, store it and use it at night much more efficiently without needing mines in countries that, you know, it's decimating their wildlife and their workforce and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, optimizing systems, aiding in green tech development, and better monitoring and efficiently dealing with climate change.
Yeah.
It's almost weird, isn't it? Just going like this thing that's kind of kicking off CO2 is actually has the potential to reduce climate change.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, what do you think about it all when you like knowing that it's got this like negative impact, however it compares with other stuff? Like how does that all that kind of make you feel?
Seeing that it's like pretty comparable to like a few searches on Google kind of makes me feel like it's like, why not use it in place of Google? If you, because you genuinely will like spend 3-4 searches in Google to find what you want in ChatGPT. Plus Google now has, like we saw, the AI thing at the top.
Yeah, it's got
generates
Gemini
anyway. So
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if it's not doing, and honestly, I don't use it that often. I really do just use it for like things I completely don't understand and need to, like a contract I could look through, but I could end up getting absolutely shafted, and I'd rather not get shafted. So,
but would you rather pay what makes you go, I'm going to do AI rather than paying a, because I mean, this is slightly going away to the other topics that, again, I don't want to, we're not avoiding them because they don't exist. It's just slightly niche on the topic.
Matt's made a very good point that we did search the size of a gorilla's penis on ChatGPT recently. However, you would take quite a few Safari searches to find that. I've already tried, so yeah. What you mean? Why would I put the contract through ChatGPT instead of paying someone to do it?
Yeah, because I think I again, like I wanted this to kind of, because we could speak about all the controversies with AI in much more detail in other podcasts, and we have touched on it. But one big thing is people go like, rather than using AI, you should either do it yourself or pay someone to do it. So you are kind of taking
the thing is, I've got an accountant who I pay anyway and would look through it for me to make sure it's fine, but I can't be asked to send that email and then wait for a response and then get it back, and that probably takes more energy than just putting it through ChatGPT anyway.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
I mean, it could go to him and then he sends it back, and I kind of trust ChatGPT more than human error anyway. I think so. Yeah. I would just chuck that thing through ChatGPT.
No, it makes sense.
So yeah.
I mean, this was such a difficult podcast to even like think about doing because there's almost like another layer of guilt about kind of almost like justifying it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like saying, oh, I care about the environment, I care about animals, I care about all this kind of stuff, and just kind of going like, oh yeah, we use AI, but like, you know, kind of not really speaking about it. I thought it'd be interesting, but it is almost like a difficult thing to like. I think I feel the cognitive dissonance kicking in, like the slight elevated stress of going like, you know, we might be relaying true information about energy use and going like, oh, actually, you know, chatting to ChatGPT might not be as bad as Netflix and stuff, but at the same time, there's almost like an underlying tone of it going like, it can almost feel like we're just going, oh, you know, we meet and we, you know, we use AI and don't worry about it too much. It almost feels like we're doing the wrong thing, and that, you know, the episode should be about, you know, if we want to be like doing the perfect public service, we could have done a whole episode going like, just going, AI has these bad things, don't use it, like don't eat meat and that kind of stuff. But I just thought it would be really interesting for us to kind of go, actually, there are things that we fall short on and kind of explore why.
Yeah.
And it's, you know.
I do feel slight guilt for things like that, but I also do think in general, I would say I'm better than the average person at making sure. No, let me finish my sentence. Let me finish. No, actually, you know what? I'm going to leave it there.
That's so funny.
I'm actually more epic than most people.
No, because most people listening at home, I'm better than you.
No, I think I'm better at most people, like the average person. Let me finish. And,
if people didn't hate us already after this podcast, go, these evil twats are just telling everyone to use AI.
No, at making good like environmental decisions and moral decisions and stuff.
Fair.
I think I've got a good head on me. You know. Better than most heads, actually.
Oh my God. I think that's the interesting thing that like does, I think almost it can work against you in some ways because, you know, like let's say, I would say the average influencer wouldn't post something on their story. You know, recently I posted on my story about signing a petition to do with the UK government, and it was all about, it was for the benefit of wildlife. You can go check it out on my Instagram stories. It's in one of the highlights, I think, if you want to check it out and go into more detail. It's not really relevant. And obviously some people would reply going like, oh, but you know, you flew to Prague, or, oh, but you spoke about using ChatGPT, or like, oh, you do. And it's almost like if you try and do a bit more, you kind of almost get more kickback. Yeah. Like if I hadn't posted that to my story, I wouldn't have had any messages being like, oh, you know, but you do this, and almost like going like, and to some extent, it's almost quite good because you kind of, if I'm sitting there going like, I care about the environment, like it's good that people are out there going like, oh, well, if you're saying you care about the environment, have you thought about this? You know, have you thought about the fact that you speak about AI and you use this kind of stuff? And this was almost like a part of a going like, actually, let's make this into a conversation because you're kind of right. Like, you know, what products am I using? What food am I eating? What services am I using? Am I living up to, you know, my ideals? And I was just kind of like, you know what, I do fall short, and it's actually quite an interesting thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a difficult one because it's like, if you didn't do the things that you might be falling short on, then maybe you wouldn't be in the position you are today, and then you wouldn't have a platform to encourage good things and put up, you know, things on your story that have like, let's say you get 500 extra people to sign that petition, which is a good thing to do. And without going to Prague and doing a video, you wouldn't have as much clout, and that wouldn't go out to as many people, and that many people don't sign the petition.
And all these things are like impossible to measure. Like I have no idea how, like it's almost like the kind of, when we were speaking about billionaires going to space and like, oh, there's the kind of added benefit of maybe inspiring younger generations. There's no tangible way of measuring that. Like I have no idea if anyone signed that petition, if anyone cares, like if anyone watches this and changes, oh, you know, hears me speaking about animals and the environment in a nice way and goes, oh, I'm going to change for the better even slightly, and what kind of knock-on impact that has. So quite difficult. I think it'd be really interesting to do. Someone, did they message me recently? with like a thing going like, oh, you can fill out this, you can go on this website and see how much your lifestyle kicks off in terms of CO2. And I think
that would be fun.
I think if I was like, oh, if I became like a really big YouTuber one day and just made like loads and loads of money, it'd be quite cool to be like, oh, actually, I'm going to be net zero. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when you look at it, like even things like the aviation and stuff, just going on one holiday, like the amount of trees you have to plant to cancel it out, like as people in the West, like it's actually, we kick off so much CO2 just with our normal lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something to think about.
But
like all the to tying it back to the philosophy and to summarize, use it for good. Have these things where you go like, you know what, I'm going to just try and do a little better. And I think one other thing was people saying how important it is for like healthy, happy encouragement, just, you know, and obviously like there are scientific like studies saying, oh, you know, like do more of this. It's really good for the environment. It's so much better than going, you're a meat eater, like you're evil, this kind of stuff. And I think people should be like that with themselves a little bit, you know, tying it back. Cognitive dissonance isn't always bad. It can be productive tension that prompts growth. We said it a few times here. I think treating yourself like that is quite important. Just going like, you know what? I don't have to like hate myself or feel super guilty. Like all I can do is use this to do better and be better and do the best that I can. Yeah. But not even that. I mean, the best, just do better. Yeah. Yeah. Got any final thoughts on it? Like how it makes you feel, what you want people to do in the future?
No, because I'm scared I'm going to say that I'm better than everyone.
Oh, yeah, here's my sign off. Dear peasants.
Dear peasants, I am better than you at everything. No, yeah, honestly. I like the whole striving thing. Yeah. I think that's important. Just strive to be as good as you can possibly be. Yeah. That's a good way to live.
I think one thing that does make it easier that we kind of like speak about from time to time is going like, we aren't like that with other people. So I feel like it's more of a internal struggle than external. Like I think if we were sitting here going like, oh, you know, no one's like signing this petition, like you're evil if you're doing this, or you're bad if you're doing this, and going like holding people to a certain standard. I feel like I like the way we approach these kind of things because it's always kind of encouraging and in a nice, like accepting way. Like I almost the same way do you remember when we did the mukbang and you were like talking about, you know, we all speak about eating healthy and being active and all that kind of stuff, but you were like, you know what, you can enjoy a sweet treat every now and then. Like, don't be too hard on yourself.
Yeah, happiness over
I feel like
health. You know what, fuck it.
this summary for you has been so funny.
You know what, fuck it.
No, yeah,
just be happy, smoke that cigarette.
Yeah. No, and if you enjoy burning car tires, do it.
Well, why not?
Why?
If you're getting happiness out of it, actually, you know what? Fuck the world. No, think about it.
And by the way, the 100k special mukbang is pretty much ready to go.
And we've got 1 billion subscribers now, so we're a little bit late.
So it's going out to Patreon gang. If you're listening to this episode, join the Patreon gang so you can see it, because everyone else is going to be waiting for yonks.
Yonks, that's a good word.
Haven't used that word in a while.
Yeah, you haven't used that in yonks.
But yeah, I feel like I keep wanting to summarize because I really want to make sure that the general message of this pod is clear, that it is about doing your best, not worrying about it to the extent where you feel bad or you make other people feel bad. Support everyone, including yourself. Lift each other up. Try and do better. Think about it. Make conscious decisions.
Just try and be as good as me. And even if you fall a little bit short, you'll be doing excellent.
And because everyone looks at us and goes, oh, you guys are so epic. You must be perfect. Oh.
Pretty close.
We're filled with flaws. And
speak for yourself.
like in our episode 36,
flaws?
We're exposing our moral hypocrisy. I hope you guys haven't finished this and just gone, oh, these guys are manifestly evil. I'm never listening to it again. Hope you understood what we were trying to get at with this episode.
Yeah, you know what? We haven't got perfect morals, so let's make that clear.
Yeah, Badge beats the shit out of me when I'm late to the podcast.
That's morally
right. Oh, you
right.
think my face is puffy because it's 9 a.m? Nope, it's swollen because he punched me in the head.
Yep. In his stupid head.
Anyway, so I thought I'd finish us off with something animal related. This is the most evil thing I've said.
Oh, I'm going to finish. Morals have gone into the shitter.
Bring in the ostrich. No, I'm joking. Don't know why I picked ostrich. They are very sexy.
Long neck.
You don't need all that length, boy.
Bring out a fucking emu. I need something bigger. No, cassowary.
No, so there's this Washington Post thing called People's Names for Dogs, and you can put in your name, and it tells you on a spectrum how much your name is dog-like or human-like.
Arthur is very dog-like, I reckon.
Oh, and I'm on the spectrum closest to human.
You're definitely on the spectrum. We could have told you that, buddy.
That's the first time I've got mostly human on any kind of thing that analyzes any part of me.
That's crazy.
So it was like robot alien.
Let's put in my name, Batch. Interesting. You are an alien. It's not a name, is it? Let's try Isaac. Let's just make one up.
Isaac is a human name.
But that's slightly less than Arthur. Isaac is way more human than dog. I don't think you could get a dog called Isaac, can you? I think the dog would reject it. Let's try Matt.
Oh,
I disagree. I don't think you can have a dog called Matt.
Name.
I don't think you can have a dog called Matt.
That makes sense because you're always going, good boy to Matt.
You're not.
Oh my God, he's barking.
Oh my God. No, he's humping the set back there.
All right,
let's try
Nat. Oh, by the way, guys.
Intro.
Nat debut. We've got a new producer called Nat. She's Australian, so she's upside down right now.
Yeah. Nat just dropped.
Nat
Crazy.
just dropped. So welcome, Nat. Oh my God, she got the most human name possible.
Australia.
Oh my God, Australia. Because Australia don't have dogs. So they keep falling off the world.
Oh,
yeah.
down.
Oh my God, I wasn't expecting. I can't believe Matt is a doggish name.
Okay, let's have a quick competition. We've both got to pick the most dog name possible and see who can get the most dog-like.
Rex.
Oh, shit.
I want to lock that.
I'm going to go Chester.
Bro, what the fuck? Oh, baby.
Rex is in between the bottom two dogs.
Let's
go Chester. Chester is dog and
fairly
human.
neutral. No, do you know what? Let me keep going bangers. Marley.
I don't know about Marley, you know.
Marley and me. Oh, that's good.
Mostly dog.
That's good. No, what's the other one? Oh, actually, I'll try my dog's name, Otto. Just out of curiosity. He is pretty doggish. Fair.
I got a lot of dogs actually.
Name
try
one?
Toto.
Nice. Oh, that's
that's like the most dog you can be.
Can we try Caesar? That's like a classic, like pit bull name. I feel like Caesar. Caesar.
Oh, that's
more
close.
salad. That's really weird. I didn't know that was on the scale. How's that happened? Chip. Nice. Oh, Chip's well dog.
Chip is as dog as you can get. That's
he
so
has
funny.
got that dog in him. He has got that dog.
Put Calfreezy.
Put Calfreezy. Oh, it's human, but the neck has grown. That's really weird.
Let's do Callum and Josh.
Yeah, Callum.
Oh, Callum's mostly dog.
I just
and
think
last
Callum is
up,
a weird dog name. Though.
Josh, slightly more dog. Oh,
I don't agree with
about
this. You know what? I don't agree with this thing.
No,
especially with Matt. You're a human. Do you think Matt could be a dog name? I don't think it could.
Oh my God.
God, he's down tremendous, isn't he? All his clothes are off as well. That's crazy. He's lapping up milk back there.
Oh.
Yeah, Matt is surely a human name. Don't you think, Arthur?
Yeah.
That's your name after all.
No.
Well,
I was just thinking if there's anything else
we should have tried. No, never mind.
To discuss, but that's pretty much it. Let us know what you think in the comments because this will be I think this will be a very divisive, interesting comment section of people being like, I get it. Let us know what you struggle with as well. I think it'd be really interesting because me and Batch obviously have these main two and we're quite similar. It'd be interesting to hear what you guys are like. Here's my ideal and here's how I feel like I fall short and I'm aware of it, but I don't do my best anyway.
Yeah.
Really
Let's just encourage a comment section of immoral bastards. Agree?
And let us know if you, like Batch, think you're better than everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what will make you better than everyone? Because less than 50% of people that watch these videos are subscribed. So if you hit subscribe, it makes you very epic.
Yes.
And if you rate us 5-star, same as a fraction of the number of people who actually do it, it's a small. So this will elevate you to GOAT status. Subscribe if you're on YouTube, like the video, comment down below what makes you evil, rate us 5-star on the thing, and to top it all off, join the Patreon. You get these episodes a day early. Matt is cooking at the moment. We've had back to back 5 PMs, or is that true? Yeah, pretty much.
True. He does speak English.
Every now and then it'll be a little bit late. Sometimes that's my fault. No, but Matt's cooking up a storm. We're getting 24-hour early access. It's not guaranteed, but it's very frequent at the moment. Lots of Patreon submissions have been coming in lately that we've been using in the pod. But most importantly, right now, the Mukbang 100k special coming out soon, several weeks early to
That's
Patreon
right.
only. So
That's right.
check it out. Anything else to add?
No, you've actually added everything possible about Patreon ever.
Add more.
You know, you're the Patreon plugging final boss. You doesn't get any better than that. No, I think the best thing to do now is, well, Matt wants us to do a barking outro, but I think that's just for his own sick fantasies. You want to hit a bark to say goodbye? Woo! I thought it was going to be way higher than that.
What the fuck was that?
I think we'll leave it there.
Let's end it there.
Thanks for watching. Bye.